The world's biggest shipping companies are asking for a more effective military response to surging pirate attacks and record kidnappings off the coast of West Africa. The number of attacks on vessels globally jumped 20% last year to 195 cases, with 135 crew members kidnapped. The International Maritime Bureau's Policy Piracy Reporting Center says in a report published on January the 13th. The agency confirmed that the Gulf of Guinea accounted for 95% of hostages taken in 22 separate instances, and for all three of the hijackings that occurred. The attacks have pushed up insurance and other costs for shippers operating off West Africa, with some resorting to hiring escort vessels manned by armed Navy personnel. AP Moller Musk, which transports about 15% of the globe's seaborne freight, says more decisive action needs to be taken. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari will virtually inaugurate the National Oil and Gas Excellence Center in Lagos on January the 21st. That's in a bid to boost the operations of the nation's petroleum sector, according to an official of the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR. Mr. Paulus, who head public affairs, who made the announcement in a statement issued on Monday, quoted the director of the DPR, Saki Awalu, the chief host of the event, as saying that the center would afford the oil and gas industry the critical elements for competitive advantage in a changing global energy landscape. From oil and gas to agriculture, about 300,000 metric tons of maize are expected to be released in February from strategic anchors under the central bank's Anchor Borrowers program. The move is expected that they will boost the supply of maize and reduce the current price, which is estimated at 155,000 naira per metric ton. The anticipated release follows moves by the central bank working with the Nigerian customs in the last quarter of last year to facilitate import waivers for 4 agro-processing companies to import 262,000 tons of maize to bridge the shortfall in domestic production. Arise business analyst CHIKATARA joins me now in the studio as we go to the farm. But first, let's dig for oil. Chika, it's good to see you. Good morning. Yeah, I'm good. It's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We can use some good news.
Yeah.
So what do you mean of this National Oil and Gas Excellence Center? What is it going to be all about?
Let's put it this way: better late than never. Oil has been in Nigeria since 1956 in Olobiri, and over the years, you don't be surprised that we have accumulated so much competencies in this industry. And but the issue is that they have been disparate. They have been, in several small huts. And the Excellence Center now will enable the industry coalesce and have one place where you can have some of these skills. And we have had issues where that some of these skills we have had to go and get them from foreign countries or foreigners, expatriates. Meanwhile, if you have worked with the NNPC, you will know that NNPC has, the collection of the largest collection of trained professionals, very competent professionals in the industry, and most of them retire and then get lost in the system. So this center will help in bringing all these skills together and then provide the necessary support for the industry. And some of these skills that we've been getting from expatriates now and overseas and paying in foreign currency for will now be hosted, in the country.
What about the Petroleum Institute in Efuru?
Yeah, but you see, the Petroleum Institute is to, train technicians, the people who are doing individual works, in the industries. But this is more like a research center. It's more like a research center. There's an arbitration, center. A lot of arbitrations within the oil industry now are done abroad. Meanwhile, a lot of the skills are available in this country. So this will help. It'll be more than African largest producer. And as I said, you couldn't have gone through oil industry in the last how many years, from 1950 to now, without accumulating all these experiences. But we have not had a structure to bring everything together and provide a structure, the platform to disperse it, and provide the services around the whole oil industry of Nigeria.
But the director of the DPR said the center was structured to drive the three-pronged objectives of safety, value, cost efficiency. Looking up at the makeup of Nigeria's oil and gas industry, do you think the center can achieve these goals?
Of course, it will. As I said before, a lot of these costs have been, we have been paying foreign currency for a lot of them. Now, what happened now is this center, if well run as it's planned, will provide a homegrown solution for a lot of the problems in the industry, on a research basis, on arbitration, in training, and other capacity building programs.
This is an NNPC project, isn't it?
NNPC, yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering why the location is Lagos. Yeah, because Lagos is called the Center of Excellence.
Remember, it's the Oil and Gas Excellence Center, so maybe you have to tag it to Nigeria Oil and Gas.
Not anywhere in the Niger Delta area.
Well, I'm not part of the decision process. I wouldn't know. They may have the reasons for putting that here. Maybe have more resources, and we have a lot of the availability of the oil players are here. Remember, even during the oil, security crisis, a lot of the oil industry players all moved up from even Niger Delta areas and started playing here.
Yeah, during the heydays of the militancy. So should Nigerians be hopeful about the PIB can become a reality?
You heard the president.
Yes, his first quarter. There is a public hearing by the House of Reps next week, 27 and 28. Are you hopeful that this is the home run?
I'm very hopeful. Do recall also, I think last week when he was doing his 2 birthday symposium, he said that there are a lot of interest, local and international, who don't want the...
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says demons.
Who don't want the bill to come into life.
Yes.
But it's good for our country. We have on this platform, on this program, talked about it, for the last 2 years. I said, we need to do this. Even though these are the last days of oil as we know it, a lot of industry countries are moving towards renewables now. But let's still make whatever is remaining of the industry. So we believe that the Senate and the House of Reps are nationalistic enough, they know how important it is to the country, they're able to push this to the home run.
There's the last days of oil, but we all know there's still a whole lot of hydrocarbon projects going on in Mozambique, in Egypt, in Morocco, and all of that. So it's all going on across the African continent. It's not disappearing overnight. Let's just get that right. And we can still make hay while the sun shines, or maybe the sunset, by the way, whatever it is. Let's talk about agriculture, talking about the maize supply and what have you. Do you think the anticipated supply of about 300,000 metric tons will have the expected effect on price?
Some of my friends were asking me why maize, why there's so much focus on maize. A lot of people, the knowledge of maize.
Where's the connection?
The knowledge of maize is actually the women you see on the roadside, roasting the wood, and some of us stop by and buy the corn and eat it like the mat organ and move on. But maize is larger than that. And the importance of maize is very pervasive to the economy. Let's look at it. It's a food ingredient. You thought about the one we eat. Even people boil it to eat with beans and so on and so. It's a major food ingredient. Agriculture is a major input to the poultry industry. If you've gone to any poultry, look, see how much the chickens consume it. It's the major source of their carbohydrates, and it's very important for agricultural value chain. Now, for the industry also, it's a major component of the industrial sector, major raw material input in the industrial sector. You hear things like corn flour, corn starch, corn meal, and so on and so forth. Even some beer. There was a beer at one time.
Yeah, they have maize.
Merit beer. I think Sona breweries at the time is maize. Do you recall a time there was a ban on importation of the key ingredient for making the breweries?
Yes.
All of them had to go and look for maize. So maize is a very important ingredient. It's even in pharmaceuticals. It's a major component of the use in drugs also. So that's why it's very important. So it's not just the roadside ones that we roast to eat.
So when the government talks about maize, local maize production, strategic reserves, what have you, and why the central bank is involved, people should see it beyond the narrow view of the woman by the street corner.
That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. That is very important to the economy. But what's happened is that, just like the things we talked about in this program, that yes, we love to produce what we eat. We love the policy to look inwards. But the issue is also we have not determined the capacity of our local farming mechanisms. And so you have a policy that maize was banned at the time, and then government subsequently gave approval to 4 companies to import maize because they found out that the maize price in Nigeria was going to the roofs. And the pharmaceutical companies are complaining, the poultry association is complaining. And so that's basically what it is. So with this supply, we hope that it will moderate the price downwards.
Well, it can only last for long. So what happens when maize is needed?
The government needs to look at that more And then, the major problem is part of what we talked about yesterday when we're looking at inflation.
Yes.
Is the maize belts in Nigeria are the areas that have been, fraught with the
banditry, criminal
enterprise, where the farmers cannot even go to the farms again to plant or even harvest what they've planted. Then move the things down
There's hardly any part of Nigeria that you don't grow maize.
No,
I've been to Maiduguri in Borno State and beyond, and they all talk about maize and wheat, even around Lake Chad.
So the problem is what we talked about. The problem we talked about yesterday. The problem of Nigeria, which is the fact that we have problems with security, moving our food, with the food logistics from the food belts and maize belts in this case now down to where they're needed, and that's a major problem.
That's a really major problem. So do you agree with the president of the Maize Producers Association of Nigeria attributing the current shortfall of maize available in the market to insecurity? You talk about Niger, Kaduna, and
the belts. Yeah, that's basically what it is. The insecurity has affected. Just like I talked about the food inflation,
it's a major problem.
Food inflation is at 19.56. It's not surprising. Maize comes first into the basket.
After rice?
Take a pick. You know the funny thing? Like I talked about to a professional this morning, yes. You know what he told me? That maize is more important than rice.
Leave it there. Thank you. On that note, let's have some maize, shall we?